Okay, we're going to move on from that bookmark, and what I want you to do is open up your Springboard to page 112. Just use those learning targets. You guys have 30 seconds. 25 seconds. 20 seconds. 15. 10. So the activities have you focus on two ideas. But the secondary idea about vocabulary, that's in your homework. That's the blue form. So we're not really focusing on that in class. That first bulletin point, though, is talking about how we have to analyze perspectives of characters, and that's definitely your focus today. So we've got these two questions right below those bullet points. Can you read the first one for us, please, Anthony?
Before reading, among other than the protagonist, who are the most important characters so far in the story? What do we know about each other? These characters, make a list of these characters and provide a brief.
Alright, so in terms of characters who we're thinking of are friends of Jonas and family members of Jonas. So, who are some of Jonas's friends, or the people that he goes to school with? Who's one of them, Britton? Asher. I would write Asher underneath number 1. Who's another, a friend or a classmate? Fiona, very good, we've got Fiona. Any other friend or classmate that you can think of, Helen? Benjamin. There's more, but those are 3 that we know about with what we've read. Now, family members who are in, or who would be in his direct family. Who's one now? Mom. Who's another? One more time? Lily, the sister. Dad. And there's one more person who's not necessarily a direct family member, but who's kind of there by default. Xavier? Gabriel. Gabriel's kind of their adopted child, so to speak. Father's taking care of him in the nurturing center. Gabriel wasn't ready to be adopted out. They have to wait another year. So Dad's bringing him home to take care of him. Now let's move on to number 2. So, Vivian, could you read number 2 for us?
Which of these characters usually agree with each other? Which of these characters stand?
Okay, do Mom and Dad agree with one another? For the most part, do they see eye to eye? Well, yeah, they have to. If the committee put them together, it's because they're compatible. It's because they work together. So I would write down underneath number 2, Mom and Dad agree. What about Lily and Jonas? Do they agree and disagree? Yeah, they're normal human siblings like you and your siblings. They will agree. They will disagree on things. What about Asher and Jonas? They're supposedly best friends. Do they agree with one another? Kind of. They have things that they think similarly on, but things that they don't. All right, that's going to bring us to number 3. Now, before we even read number 3, I want you to copy the note that you see on the screen about what perspectives are. If you're not looking at the screen, you don't know what to copy. You need to know what that term is in order to understand what number 3 is all about. Perspectives would be any person's views, ideas, or beliefs on a concept, or a rule, or a line of thought. So with that in mind, could you read for us, Jade, number 3?
Conflict between people or between people and society as a result of conflicting perspectives. Support this idea by identifying the topics that have created the most important conflict so far in the story and contrast 2 different perspectives from the topic.
I think most of you would agree. A problem happens when you don't see eye to eye with someone. Would you agree with that? Does a problem happen when you disagree with someone?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. We see it at school, we see it at home all the time. So we've got to talk about, well, what problems might a character have with another character's idea. So what I'm going to ask you to do first, highlight this note in step 3. You will be using this chart tomorrow for a writing piece. and you need to be able to recall what the heck is all this stuff. So essentially what you're doing in this chart is you're pre-writing for tomorrow. So the more you put into it, the easier tomorrow will be. The chart is making you identify a topic that has created the biggest problem so far in the community. And this is the topic that I'm going to ask you to analyze. It's the idea of assignments or jobs in the community. That's the biggest conflict that's going on, especially for Jonas. Remember, red means copy. So what we've got to do is we have to analyze the character's perspective on that topic. So how do they view it? Well, the first character that you're going to be talking about, obviously, is Jonas. So we're going to put Jonas down as character 1. But the secondary character, that's up to you. You could either choose his sister Lily, his good friend Asher, or his classmates Fiona or Benjamin. So you're going to choose one of those names, one of those characters. After you've done that, in that perspective box, you need to state how that character feels about that topic. So how does Jonas feel about assignments? How would Lily or Asher or Fiona feel about assignments? And the last thing, you've got to provide textual evidence to prove your point. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to work with this chart. If you've read, this will be pretty easy. If you haven't, you might be struggling a little bit. I don't mind if you work with somebody, but this piece, it's your pre-write for tomorrow. So if you're just talking the entire time, not putting any effort in, you're hurting yourself for tomorrow. Okay? You got 5 minutes to work with the chart. If you got questions, put that hand up, I'll come to you. Go ahead.